Hello, I'm Jim Kramer, standing here next to Bigfoot No. 6. Bigfoot No. 6 is primarily used in indoor stadiums for car crushing and sled pulling. Now, to be able to withstand these rigors, we had to redesign this truck and upgrade it from, say, Bigfoot No. 4. And in order to do that, what we did is build in a lot more strength and change the componentry. Let me show you this truck. Bigfoot 6 uses a 472 cubic inch supercharged Ford engine. It uses a 671 BDS blower with 2 Predator racing carburetors on top. This gives us about 650 horsepower. It uses a ladder type frame, tempered leaf springs with a timber and rubber spring as a helper in this area, and also back on the axle support system. This axle strut helps take the force of hitting cars at 30 miles an hour. We also use nitrogen-charged gas shocks. This is very important for when you come down after you do hit those cars. You don't want any aeration in the shock itself, and the nitrogen charge keeps the aeration out. All the suspension components have to control this axle. This axle is what we call a combination axle, using a 5-ton center section with an agricultural tractor type tip. It takes a lot of work and engineering to incorporate them, but that's the kind of axle it takes to be able to control the weight and the horsepower these monster trucks have. Behind the cabin, well down into the frame, you'll see 2 air brake boosters here. This is the split brake system. Behind the brake system, you'll see a bank of solenoids. This is an automatic rear steering system. Behind the automatic rear steering system, we have the actual pumps. It's electric over hydraulic pumps that actually operates the back steering. Behind the steering pumps, a fuel cell. Has a special foam inside of it to keep the fuel from sloshing around in the tank, and also has a special valve, and in case the truck does turn over, it keeps fuel from wanting to drip out. Behind the fuel cell are the batteries. We use 2 1100 amp HD batteries. All these components were in the bed. We've taken them and put them down in the frame for 2 reasons. They're better protected down here, and plus it takes the center of gravity and brings it down a lot lower and makes the truck handle a lot better. In the interior, instead of the chrome thin wall bar we used to use, we used a thick wall frame mounted roll cage, diagonally and X-braced in the back, and also padded around the driver's head. We use a special seat now that wraps around the driver and helps hold him. Gives a lot more rigidity. We use a kill switch on the dash. If the driver has trouble, he can simply reach up, hit the kill switch, and shut the truck off. We use a kill switch on the back bumper. In case a fireman or track official back there, if the truck is rolled over or in a bad position, you come up and pull that chain, and the truck will die. We also have incorporated a radio remote control kill switch. The truck can be stopped from the other end of the arena if need be. With the progression of monster truck motorsports, the features that I have pointed out to you on Bigfoot No. 6 have helped to make a better performing and safer truck.
Hey, I'm Gary Porter from Wadesboro, North Carolina, the owner and driver of Carolina Crusher. This is the all-new '89 Chevrolet. It was built in December of '88, and I started racing in January of '89. It has a blown 468 cubic inch Chevrolet motor in it, putting out approximately 925 horsepower. It runs the Allison AT540 4-speed automatic. And one of the changes I done in this truck was I put a profab transfer case in it. It's a quick change transfer case. It gives me any ratio I want on different courses. The frame is lighter, the radiator, gas tank, batteries, and everything possibly I can move to the back is in the rear of the truck to get the weight distributed better. In order to cut weight in every possible place, we drilled holes in the calf mount and the cross members and the shock mounts and every other place that we felt it was possible, and the truck would still be as strong. The truck weighs approximately 2,000 pounds lighter than the other truck. It weighs 13,500 pounds. The paint on it is a '78 Corvette yellow, painted by Terry Conklin out of Wadesboro, North Carolina, and the graphics are by Jim Norris out of Wallace, South Carolina. The truck is sponsored by Porter's 4-Wheel Drive Center, which my brother owns, and Big A Auto Parts. Special thanks to Yates Tyson.
Tell him that they're ready, and then he'll let them fly.
I'm Dennis Anderson with the Gravedigger. I'm the owner and driver. This is the second of the Gravedigger trucks. I've got 2 of them. This truck here is a Chevrolet body. I used to run a Ford body, but it's a 1950 Chevrolet panel truck. Another interesting feature on my truck is I run the motor in the rear. I run the motor in the rear to keep the front end up as much as possible and keep all the pressure off the front of it. I'm running a 2,000 horsepower 557 Rodak with a set of Bachmann aluminum heads on it. I run a turbo 400 transmission. I run a Profab gearbox in it. We've got quick change gears for the truck, so we gear for short courses, we gear up for long courses. I run these 6650 steel flotation tires on it. They're a little bit wider than everybody else's. Most trucks out on the circuit run a planetary axle. There's a couple of us that just run right off the axle shaft. This truck here, I'm running a set of Timken rears that came out of a big aircraft mover. They're rated at 10 ton. They've got a 3-inch axle shaft in them. I've got a 900 gear ratio, the hog's head. These axles are a little bit lighter than planetaries, and you can get more power running right off the axle shaft. That's why I chose to run these axles. And we've got a real good braking system on this new truck. We hook up a disc brake right off the pinion shaft on the trucks, in which most of the guys do. I've got one of the wildest paint jobs on the circuit. It's a graveyard scene. It's got tombstones in the background of it with a wrought iron fence that follows it all the way around. I've got reserved tombstones on the side of the truck for all my buddies that I race with. I've got USA 1, Gravedigger, Bigfoot, and Stomper Bully on them. I came up with the name Gravedigger by running in the mud. And I used to dig graves for my buddies in the mud bog, so we just ran the Gravedigger off as a monster truck. Now I'm digging graves for all my competitors out there now.